Welcome to Metal Verbalizers. This podcast is about supporting underground metal and talking about underground bands that we like. We talk about things like inspirations, origin, future plans, and more, as a way to introduce these bands to you. However, even if you're familiar with a band, maybe you'll hear something new that you didn't know already. I'm Johan Verbalizer, and in this episode we will verbalize Vittra. Alright, so let's start by having you introduce yourselves. Your name and what you do for the band.
Yes, so hello everyone. I'm Gustav and I play the bass.
Hi, I'm Johan. I play guitar.
Right, so when did you start playing and what encouraged you to start?
You mean as individuals or
Yeah,
as
as
the band?
individuals.
As individuals. I started, if it's okay, Gustav. I was around 13, I think, and had some older friends playing guitar. I was playing some sort of flute before that, but then I guess I started getting into more metal and rock music and so on, and then I wanted to play guitar.
Right.
Yeah, and by me, I was it was some kind of positive peer pressure growing up as well. Around, I think the same, 13 or 14, and everybody were playing guitar, and everybody were listening to Slayer and Metallica, and I kind of got pulled into that movement, and here I am still.
Right. So when was the band started? And if you want to, feel free to also elaborate a little bit on how it started.
Yeah, I guess that's mine. I think we started in 2017. I guess more or less exactly 8 years ago. It was in the summertime. David, who sings, he put out an ad on Bandfinder that I responded to, and we started talking. And we actually started writing more or less from the start. So we wrote the song called "Modest Charade." It was the first song we wrote, and it was strongly influenced by, I would say, Dissection and some In Flames and whatever bands we were discussing. I was a bit more into thrash metal. He was more like black metal, melodic metal stuff. But that's how it started. And then I think Gustav, you and Alex, I think we got Alex in first, who's a drummer, but he was intended to play guitar, but he came in on drums in 2018. And then we got sort of two for one, so to speak.
Right.
We got Gustav as well.
Yep. I was just a bonus.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting to hear your side of the story. And then I think Lars came in 2021, something. I think around the time when we released the EP.
It's post-COVID, but I don't remember exactly when, because he kind of gradually got into the band more and more.
We did one sort of virtual gig as a 4-piece, I think. And then Lars joined as well. He's our lead guitarist.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's one way of putting it. I was a bonus, but at the same time, I remember them talking something about, Johan had this vision of them becoming first like a 3-piece band with David playing bass, and then I like to see it as I got in the rehearsal room with Alex, and they just thought that I was better than David, so they brought a real bassist in. But I don't know. That's how I like to see it.
And much better.
And
No doubt
funny,
about it.
a funny detail about that is that the first thing that I heard from Vittra before joining was just Alex sending me like some really crappy version of the Modest Charade with I don't know, even if it was MIDI bass or MIDI something, half of it, and that was like the first thing that I heard before joining. So I just remember that. I had almost completely forgotten that was the first thing that I heard from the band.
Right. So, like, how would you, if you would like quickly describe Vittra for someone who has never heard of you before, how would you describe the band?
You want to go first, Johan? Or
No, you go, Gustav.
okay. I mean, it's Johan is the main riff master in this band, and so it will be thrashy, like that's inevitable. But I would say that we're like I usually say that we're like melodic thrash, a little bit with a bit of goof, kinda, and strong melodies. And the goof could probably be translated into something like a bit of progressiveness, or at least some experimental, non-conventional metal influences here and there to spice things up. Now, this was not a short label, but I would end. I would summarize it with melodic thrash, probably.
Right. I think you've said at some occasion mellow thrash and roll, and
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, that's a good
no,
one.
but I think we have. I mean, we started saying some like melodic death thrash metal. I think we have drifted off a bit more in the thrash metal direction, still keeping the melodies, but then also adding some more rock and roll, I would say, and it's partly related to the energy from Alex when he's playing drums, or he's drumming, but also, I mean, sort of the openness to bring in new things. Also, Lars guitar playing.
That's rock and roll.
So it's a mix of things.
That's true. With Lars, we will inevitably also have rock and roll solos.
Yeah. But that's something that I really noticed when I heard Vittra the first time as well, that it's a very cool mix of like the aggressive extreme side, like that would be like the death side of things, and also the kind of like thrashy style, but also these like very prominent melodies, which makes it a very interesting mix to me.
Thanks.
Cool.
No, I think it's a bit. I mean, it's all a mix of us. I think. Well, we all like melodies. David's got his sort of, not sure, it might be part of his sort of Finnish heritage, some of it, and I'm from the Dalecarlia region in Sweden. I have sort of the folk music stuff, and I mean, Gustav, you listen to a lot of melodic stuff as well. So
I'm just exactly. I'm just like melodic death metal is like always been my main genre, I would say.
But yeah, so like, what would you say is the main inspiration for the music of Vittra? It doesn't necessarily have to be other bands or like even music related, but what would you say like inspires Vittra as a band?
Oof, good question. Gustav, if I try on the musical side, maybe you can try on the lyrics.
Yeah.
But I think it's about sort of a feeling or a groove or some sort of intensity. So I mean, it can be a lot of things, but yeah, you should feel it in some way. I think that's really the starting point. But I mean, then of course you have a lot of different bands like Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, mixing it up then with the melodies.
Right, you mentioned Dissection before, for example.
Yeah. No, exactly. I think that came in via David a lot, and of course I've been listening to the Raincoast album as well. But I still think like if we would talk some of those bands that have both the intensity and the melodies, it's more that I think we have the intensity from the thrash bands and then the melodies from other things. So to me, it's not so much about trying to sound like Dissection or trying to sound like In Flames or whatever it might be. It's more having sort of similar influences, I would say. But then there should be a certain groove, a certain feel to it. I think that's really one of the key things, and try to find different expressions in the songs. So I
Yeah.
think I really enjoy that part when we have sort of a well, maybe then a riff as a starting point, or a couple of riffs, and then Alex is playing around on the drums and trying out different things, and see, okay, how can we get sort of the right energy, the right movement into the song, and how can it sort of vary along the way. That was a very fluffy answer, sorry, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm following.
Okay, good.
And also, don't forget, Johan, we are jokingly saying often that we're like pop music in a metal coating, kind of like, you know,
Right.
like we're all about, you know, the strong choruses and, you know, building up to the choruses most often. But I don't know if that's how you've been thinking when you've been making the riffs, Johan.
No, but
It's
definitely, I think it's a good point. I mean, we have quite clear song structures. So I mean, it is pop songs, really. I'm not sure if people will be offended by metal people will be offended by that,
yeah,
but
exactly.
that's
You have to you have to bleep that one out when you release
yeah.
this. I mean,
Yeah, but I can definitely see some sense in that.
Yeah. No, so most often there's a sort of like a verse, a pre-chorus, and then a chorus. But then trying to fit in some additional things to not make it too what's the word?
rigid. Yeah.
Or predictive, but yeah, that's the starting
Right.
point.
Right. So we'd like to talk about the lyrics a little bit.
Mhm.
What would you say is like the main approach when it comes to lyrics? Like, is there a certain topic that you usually go for, or?
I'm gonna have to speak a bit on the behalf of my singer here, but luckily I'm also quite involved in the lyric writing, especially on our latest album. So it kind of depends. I think that both me and David, when we approach a song, like we never start with the lyrics. Like it's always something, at least first, like
Right.
a verse, a chorus, or something that we build upon. We start like with like the vibe of the song, and then we try to see something fitting. Like, is it a theme? Like, is it anger? Is it like longing for something or whatever? And then we just kind of build around that. Or like how we did with the first album and a couple of songs on this album as well. We didn't really have like some clear feeling, but we just wrote about something, like something mythological, something from the folklore. And as you start writing about all these things, you start to notice that you have a bunch of like feelings in this as well, that you can kind of combine with the music, whether it be often some kind of aggression, but it could be something, you know, a bit touching the satanic parts of things. Or I like to write songs that seem to be like very obvious, like, oh, this is a satanic song or whatever, but then it's actually about something else, maybe something simpler. This is just something symbolic for it. I kind of floated away here a bit. What was the original
But
the
I
original
think
question?
I think is that what you can add
Lyrics.
as well. Yeah, lyrics. I mean, what it boils down to, even if you start from different sort of perspective or aspects, it a lot of times boils down to sort of David's emotional life or inner turbulence or
We had a
whatever it
couple
might
of
be.
we have a couple of those ones. Yes, that's very true. And then we kind of had to refine that. But a lot of the times, I actually think that David's inner struggles work well with music.
Right.
Although
does.
although it doesn't seem like that every time. But I mean, it's to put it shortly, I would say that it's a combination of folklore, mythology combined with like, you know, inner anxieties, inner like primal feelings that we kind of get from the music.
Soul searching.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it's a quite interesting part in the process. A lot of times we have sort of different views. We talked a bit about song structure earlier, and a lot of times when sort of well, David and then Gustav comes in with melodies and lyrics and so on. We have different views on what's the pre-chorus and what's the chorus and what's the verse and so on. And it's actually, I mean, it can be a bit frustrating. Like, no, you should sing on that part. You should not sing there. But then in the end, it usually turns out quite good. So
That's
I think,
because
oh,
I
sorry.
just wanted to add that that's the funny thing about David when he is working like with the music. I think me and Johan, we're a bit more, traditionalists when it comes to structure in a way.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
we see things in like, in clear parts most often. But David, he doesn't think about this at all. He just goes by like the what comes from his heart.
Right.
what he has in front of him right now and what he feels is the correct thing to do in the song. No matter, be it a chorus, be it a pre-chorus, a bridge, a verse, and so on. It doesn't really matter. So for that song, like Johan mentioned, the first half of the verse is just without lyrics, without singing at all, because David just said, "No, we're not having lyrics here. Why?"
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's not
Oh.
cool to have lyrics here. But then we ended up with like some cool, rock and roll lick from Lars instead. So it turned out good in the end. But
I mean, especially exactly that one. I think that guitar lick that he does on the verse, or that what was intended to be the verse. I mean, it's one of the highlights, I think, of the new album. So
yes,
I think
agree.
it sort of
Right.
it creates new stuff. It helps us in the creative process, although it can be a bit frustrating from time to time. When
Right.
you have a clear idea, and it's like, why doesn't he see this?
Yeah.
He's not feeling it.
No, exactly.
But another thing that I kind of noticed that was pretty interesting to me about the lyrics is that you're like mixing English and Swedish sometimes, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's a typical David feature.
Right.
I've never really felt that I can do that. Like not that it wouldn't be possible, but like talking more about feelings, I'm not feeling it, kind of. But
Right.
David, he does it all the time, and I think he kind of makes it work in some way. So that's completely on his part, and I kind of like it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have done it myself. So I really enjoy
Right.
that he's been in charge of it because the end result have usually been quite cool.
Yeah, I think it's again about what feels right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it works. It comes quite natural, I think. So
Yeah, because that's really one of the things regarding the lyrics that really caught my attention, and something that like you don't see very often, like bands writing like that, mixing two languages like that. But it works really well, like you're saying, and it was something that really caught my attention.
Yeah, cool.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to remember now. I think on the new one, it's all in English, isn't it?
Oh no, I have to think about it. This is a good sign because we don't think about when it's Swedish or English.
Right.
It just melts together.
I
But
think so on Blasphemy, it's a mix. On Intense, it's I think all English. And on the next one that we've already started writing, it will be a mix again.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's correct. That's why I'm thinking it's more Swedish than it is on this album.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but yeah, would you also like to discuss artwork a little bit? Like, what is the general approach you have for the artworks? And
It depends on which one we're looking at. Like with the first one, I think you remember better than I do, Johan. What was the idea behind the first one? Like
what is it called now? Sort of the three-headed angel. It was a mixture of having like it's a specific name for it that I don't remember now. But then combining sort of that three-headed creature with sort of connections or inspiration from the different songs. So you have the what is it called, the Banshee, or the like the Satmara, as we would call her, who's the sort of the main creature, but then you also have the how to say it in English, lycanthrope, sort of
The werewolf.
inspired thing for the lycanthropy, one of the songs in Swedish, and then you have Zombie Jesus, which is then from I'm trying to remember now. It's from Feeling Frenzy, the song. Yeah. And then we gave that idea to Gyula or Jules, who does the artwork, and he came back with sort of his interpretation of it, and yeah, we were just blown away. I think it was super great.
Right.
And then on the new one, we had that one was a bit more tricky. We were trying to sort of find the right approach. But then again, I think on both albums, the basic idea of the artwork comes from David, and then I think the rest of us have tried to sort of make our interpretation of it, and then I have communicated with Jules then, who does the artwork, to sort of, okay, what should it be? How should it be presented, and so on. But I think he is, sorry, Gustav, please.
No, I would just wanted to add on the artwork for this album coming now in September. We had a main idea that we wanted to make, like from the get-go as we started writing the songs, but then we kind of almost not in the last minute, but like pretty far in, we decided no, we have to go with something else. I don't remember why we did that, but then we went for something simpler, like something something that resembled, the struggle within, this skull that's cracked. But then we still wanted something that, still reminded it of us. So we put our little Satmara in there as well, and and then we kind of let the artist do his thing and like give it the character that it got, and. So I think this album, like this art, is a bit more, like the inspiration is a bit more laid back, kind of, compared to like the original thought. But I like it. I like it when we kind of just go with, when we went with something that we kind of in the moment felt was the correct thing to do. So it's, yeah.
But it's a tricky thing with artwork, and maybe even more with album titles. I think the thing that causes most frustration and arguments and discussions and so on, I think that's really the album title or album titles.
Right.
We've been going back and forth a lot, and it's been a struggle, I would say.
I agree.
We all agreed.
You could say.
Right.
Music is much simpler. All the songs much simpler, but the album title that's
the worst thing about that's like the same thing with band names as well. You at the start you always think that things sound weird, like or maybe not natural, or no, this is not fitting enough, and then like a couple of years later, it's like it can't be anything else than that name. Kind of, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird how that works. I think that's why it always ends up with a lot of opinions and discussions, because people are not feeling it right away.
Yeah, I can see some sense in that. But yeah, so what would you say are your plans for the future? I mean, you mentioned the upcoming album, but would you like to talk a little bit more about that, or some other plans?
Yeah, but maybe first thing is, of course, getting the album out. I mean, we've had really good response to the first singles, and it's. I mean, I'm both looking forward to, and I'm a bit scared of reading the first reviews, just to see. I mean, what do people think? Of course, the main thing is what I think or what we think about it. But still, it's so hard when you've been sort of locked in the studio and you've been working on the songs for quite some time, and it's really hard to see. It's like, as an example now, I think to me the first song that we released, The Leap, I think it's super good. I really like it.
Yeah.
But if we look at sort of the reception from people, then they really like Reign Supreme, the second song. You're like, yeah, okay, it's okay. I guess it's good, but why? I mean, so yeah, it's I think it's really interesting. And the same thing with the album, because the first album, that was sort of a mix of, a lot of quite old stuff, some new stuff and old stuff. You sort of collect a lot of different riffs and ideas over the years, while this one, the new one, is, I mean, more or less fully written during the last 1.5 years. So close to only new stuff. So it's a totally different creature. It hasn't sort of been there maturing in the same way. So I think it's really cool that we managed to write it, but then I'm not exactly sure on what I think about it.
Right.
So I think that will be interesting to see. So I'm not sure if that really responded to your question, but it's part of sort of what's coming. So it would be more of an experience or seeing what people think, and how that also will most likely influence how we see the different songs. And then we hope to get out and play more. That's for sure. We have a couple of gigs lined up, and I think, but that's really a key thing for us. So hopefully we get some more gigs. We got some stuff boiling now for the fall, and then it would be really good if we get some festivals for next year. But let's see how it works out.
Right.
Where are you, Gustav?
Well, I would say that. No. I was just about to say drinking coffee, but I've got none left. No, but I don't know. I might just add that we haven't even released the album yet, but we're like, in my head at least, we're in writing mode, at least for me, for the third album. So right now, I would say that apart from hoping that people will notice us, and that we get to play on bigger stages, we're just heading into the writing session again, and trying to improve even more. But that's about it. It's a bit vague. We don't have this big upcoming dates right now, apart from releasing the album.
Right.
But apart from that, we have, like Johan said, we have a couple of gigs coming up as well. But we'll keep on grinding. That's like the main focus right now in the long term.
Yeah, but I think that's the key thing that you're mentioning with the songwriting, because I mean we really enjoy songwriting, and
Yes.
we enjoy being in a rehearsal space, and I mean the ambition is to be able to release a new album in about 2 years or so. So that's what we're working on, really.
Right, sounds great. So lastly, is there anything else that you would like to say before we end? For example, something that you wish I asked about, or generally something that you would like to say to the people listening, for example?
We discussed the genre label, right? Oh yeah, we did. We did. Mellow, thrash, and roll. Maybe we'll get that going. I don't know, but yeah, I just wanted to add that.
Right.
Apart from that, I don't have anything more.
No, and I hope people. Yeah, I mean, one challenge we've had is that, or we have, I'm not sure if it's a challenge, but we sort of play around a bit with different genres, and then it's tricky to sort of, it's not pure death metal, it's not pure thrash metal and so on. But we enjoy, I mean, bringing in new stuff. So I hope people stay a bit open-minded and give it a chance. I mean, now on the next single that will come out, we actually have piano on it. So
Right.
sort of a Jerry Lee Lewis rock and roll style piano added. So we got the help of John Lönnmyr from the Night Fight Orchestra, who plays piano. And I think it's, to me, it's really cool. As a sort of, a musician or and songwriter and so on, I think it really adds something. And we got some other stuff on the album as well. We got sort of shaker, we got vibro slap, and we've done a bit more of background vocals as well. So I mean, Gustav, you did quite a lot of background vocals together with David and Linus Örn from Valkyria, who helped us out. So
Okay.
yeah, trying to add some new dimensions to it.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting for sure.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
to
hopefully you
summarize,
like it.
yeah. So to summarize, like look for the little bits and pieces on the next album because there are
Right.
plenty of them.
But yeah, by that I guess we will wrap it up. So of course I want to thank you very very much for recording this
Likewise.
episode. And of
Yeah,
course
thank you.
we wish you all the luck with the upcoming music.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And yeah, thank you
Yeah,
very much.
it's a pleasure.
Yeah. Take care. Bye.
This is the end of this episode. However, now we want to encourage you to go and listen to this band. If you like what you hear, don't forget to go and show them some support. Interacting with their social media pages, sharing their music and telling them that you enjoy their music is very important. It's a great way to help the bands and encourage them to keep going, which helps keep metal alive. We really appreciate that you've been listening all the way to the end. Thank you very much for listening to and supporting Metal Verbalizers. We will be back to verbalize again next week.